So our house currently doesn't have a range hood. So I went on Amazon and I found a range hood that was a style that I liked, but it wasn't the color that I liked. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this apart. It's got this curved glass piece on here that I'm gonna take off so that we can paint the bottom and the ductwork in the black stainless steel to match our appliances. So I think this is gonna be pretty simple to tear down. Pretty much we just got 4 bolts on here that have Phillips heads on them. And if we take these 4 bolts out, then we should be able to remove this glass piece. Of course, I have to be very careful when I do it because I don't want to break that. So we're going to go ahead and get started by taking these bolts out. They're not very long and pretty easy to take out. When I put it back together, I'm going to want to make sure that I don't torque it down too tight because I don't want to risk cracking this glass. Okay, now that I got these 4 bolts out, I want to see if I can lift this glass off of here carefully, and hopefully I can set it to the side. Oh yeah, came off real easy. I'm going to go set it back in the styrofoam padding that it was packaged in. Now that I've got the glass piece removed, I want to go ahead and put these bolts back in place. For 1, so I don't lose them, and for 2, so I can go ahead and paint the tips and paint these washers that came with it so that they'll match our final finish. Once I get these in place, I'm going to go ahead and remove the blue film that came on this to protect it. That way we can go ahead and clean this off before we spray paint it. So this vent hood came with these 2 filters, but I don't think I want to paint them because they're designed to trap grease when it's flowing up through the vent, and they're dishwasher safe, so you can just throw them in the dishwasher. They're made out of stainless steel, so I think I want to leave them in the stainless steel finish. And besides, you really won't see them too much when you're walking in. You'll be looking at the ductwork in the front of the vent hood. You won't really be looking at the filters, so I think I'm going to leave them stainless steel. And we'll go ahead and I want to try to take out these buttons and these lights if I can, so that I don't get paint on them. Okay, so the lights have quick connects on them. So I'm going to try to disconnect those real quick. It's pretty easy, you just squeeze the tab and pull them. And then there's also a quick connect here on the buttons. I'm going to release that as well, if I can. Alright. So all the wiring is disconnected on these. I'm gonna go ahead, these lights, you got a tab here and a tab here. It looks like I can just squeeze them and they should pop out. That was pretty simple. I'm gonna do the other one. Okay, now that both of the lights are out, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can take that button assembly out so that I don't get paint on the buttons. So these buttons look like they had some tabs on the side. I'm going to try to pry out with my fingers and push the buttons in. That side went pretty easy, now this side. Alright, just that simple. I've got the button assembly out as well. Since I don't want to damage or lose this button assembly or these lights, I'm going to go ahead and place them in the original box that they came in, along with the glass and the filters. That way they're in one location, easy to find, and then won't get damaged. Before I get busy painting these surfaces, we need to clean them and make sure that they're good. So I'm going to use denatured alcohol with a rag and go ahead and clean all these surfaces off just to make sure there's no oils, no residue from my fingers, fingerprints, or anything like that, so we have a good clean surface before we start painting. I'm also going to put a wood block underneath this surface right here to prop up the front just a little bit, and that way when I'm painting it can get on the bottom edge right there. I like cleaning with the denatured alcohol because it dries really quick and it cleans up the surfaces really well. I don't see any more fingerprints on these. I'll go ahead and inspect them again before I spray the paint on. For the paint, we found this Rust-Oleum black stainless steel paint, and hopefully this will end up matching our appliances. I did hold this cap up next to our appliances in the kitchen earlier and it looked like it was pretty close in color, so hopefully this will turn out good, and we'll see. Doesn't have to be exact because there's going to be some space between objects, so hopefully this will turn out pretty well, and this range hood will make a nice addition to our kitchen. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I got to shake the can up for a minute and make sure that it's good and mixed before I start spraying these surfaces here. Now we're going to let this dry overnight and see how it turns out in the morning. It looks like there's a few spots that I need a little bit more paint, so I might have to go get another can. One can, I guess, just wasn't quite enough. So in order to install the range hood here, this is a solid brick wall. The range hood came with anchors and stuff designed for a wood wall or a wood frame wall, but I'm going to be using a level, some blue tape, and a pencil so that I can get my marks so I know where I want to install this. The directions that came with the range hood show that it needs to be mounted between 24 inches, which is about right there, and 36 inches high, which is right here, which is pretty close to the bottom of this shelf that we've got right here, this top shelf. I've got the shelves cleared off because I'm going to be drilling into this brick wall. That's going to create some dust. I'm going to try to minimize that with my shop vac while I'm drilling, so there won't be dust everywhere throughout the whole kitchen. But we're going to use the bottom of this shelf and try to line up the glass, the bottom of the glass, with the bottom of this shelf. So our range and our range hood are both 30 inches wide. So I've got a mark that I put here at 15¼ inches. I want it to be just a little bit off of that shelf. I don't want them to be touching. So that's why I went 15¼ So now that I got my mark here, we're gonna have to move up and measure and mark where we need to put our mounting brackets so that we can drill the holes and get them installed on the wall. In order to do that, first thing I'm gonna do is move the stove out of the way. Now I've got enough room here so I can set up my ladder so I can get high enough to mount the brackets, and we're going to go ahead and get ready. So these are some of the things that you're going to need to get this vent hood installed. I've got a hammer drill, I've got the ductwork, and I've got these 3 brackets that it came with in order to mount the unit itself, and the 2 skinnier brackets are for the ductwork. The instructions say we've got to go up 12.5 inches in order to mount this bracket from our bottom edge of our glass where we want it to be. So we go up 12.5 inches. Puts us right on this line right here. Now, since that lines up on the grout line, don't know that that'll be a strong support. I want to go into the actual brick face to mount the bracket, so we might have to raise this up a little bit higher. But we've got about an inch and a half here to work with on our shelf, and if we can get the bottom of the glass anywhere within this inch to inch and a half, I think it'll still look alright. So I'm going to go up just a little bit onto the brick face here so that I can drill my holes. So to start with, we're going to take our level and plumb up this line that we made at 15.5 inch mark. Get it where I can see the right bubble. And I want to plumb that up. Put our mark. That'll be our center mark for our bracket. Now this bracket has a hole right in the center, so that's what we're going to use to line up with our center mark on the wall. I marked the center hole, but I went and got a smaller level so I can level up the bracket in order to be able to mark the other two holes. So I want to level this bracket up. Mark our other two holes. So the instructions did not give us a distance between this bracket and the next brackets up for the ductwork. They actually say that we need to install the lower unit in order to locate the other brackets. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to drill the 3 holes here, get this bracket mounted, and then set the unit in place. So the mounting bracket will probably hold this, but I want to go ahead, there's some holes in here. I want to put a couple more anchors here just to make sure, because when I put this heavy glass piece on here, I don't want this thing to slip down and fall at all. So just to be safe, I'm going to put a couple more anchors inside of here. So I've got my level on here, I've got it level. I'm going to go ahead and mark for a couple more holes right here. So the next thing that the instructions say to do is to go ahead and connect the ductwork. So I'm going to go ahead and get this unwrapped and install this ductwork here. It didn't come with any clamps or anything. The instructions say that we got to use the aluminum foil tape, and it didn't come with the aluminum foil tape either. But thankfully I've already got some from some other projects that I've done, so we'll go ahead and get this installed. I've got the first piece of ductwork set up here. I've got this bracket on the ductwork where it's going to be, but I need to go ahead and mark the location so I can drill a hole and permanently mount this bracket to the wall. So I'm just going to mark that with a pencil. And I can take this piece of ductwork down so I can drill the holes in order to get this ready to be permanently installed. Then after we get this piece installed, then we can do the upper piece. Here we have the range hood installed. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any more of the black stainless steel paint locally, so I had to order another can off of Amazon. But overall, I think it turned out pretty good. Those inner ducts and the outer duct there, pretty simple to take off, so I should be able to repaint those whenever the new paint does come in. Well, that pretty much wraps up our install of this vent hood. It turned out pretty well. The color matches our other appliances pretty closely. It's not enough of a difference for you to tell from a distance, so I'm pleased with it. We are waiting for the other can of color to come in so that we can repaint these ductworks, but that'll be a pretty simple job, and I don't think I'll record that. Overall, I think it looks pretty nice. I do need to clean up my tools to finish this project. So let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to share this with your family and friends who might enjoy it. So we got this range hood unboxed. There's a few steps that I want to do to this. It came in, this is one of the... So hopefully this will turn out good, and this paint will match the rest of our appliances pretty well. And this